Hey, it's Zdroik of RotoWire. I'm talking showdown for Liverpool against Wolverhampton on Wednesday. If you're looking for two game slate content on Wednesday, we will not have that. There will be nothing for that. But if you want to talk, if you have questions, if you want to ask whoever questions, join our Discord, subscribe to RotoWire, rotowire.com/soccer trial to get into a 48-hour trial. And then once you have that, rotowire.com/chat to get into our Discord. We've been talking FA Cup all day Tuesday. Sure, we'll be talking the two-game slate. We'll be talking both showdowns as well, but I'm talking the Liverpool Wolves match, which is the showdown of the week, even though the contests aren't as big as we've seen from prior showdowns of the week. But there is, for the two gamer, there is a King of the Pitch ticket qualifier. I'm just going to be going over one of the matches here on Wednesday, but the other one will be Arsenal home against Everton. So that one's 15 minutes before this one. So you're going to have to make some decisions there, but Arsenal a little bigger favorite than what Liverpool are against Wolverhampton. I believe that's the case, at least last I saw. So for this one, Liverpool implied goal total at 2.94. Implied goal total for Wolverhampton. Percent to win for Liverpool 64%, 15% for Wolverhampton. I actually did not look. I didn't look at the odds before doing the show, but the odds are kind of surprising. This is like this is normal Liverpool odds, and this is Wolverhampton from earlier in the season, but this is not regular Liverpool, and then this is a different Wolverhampton team. So that's interesting. So for this one, we'll see if there's rotation. Jurgen Klopp kind of mentioned maybe he's going to look at rotating some pieces. You can see here on the screen our expected 11. There's going to be changes. I mean, this is a short week. We know one of these teams, both teams, could make some changes. We could see Tsimikas in there. We could see maybe not James Milner. James Milner went 90 over the weekend in a midfield role. It's assumed TAA is going to start. Tsimikas hasn't really played a ton lately, but maybe they'll give Robertson a little bit of a break here. Their prices are fairly similar, so that shouldn't be a major deal. We should see Fabinho back in the 11. Henderson might not start. He went 90. He also went 90 over the weekend. Soon Bajcetic will start as well. We could see Harvey Elliott in there, so that'll be something to look at. Darwin Nunez probably not ready to start. He did return to training, so there's a chance it is a shoulder injury, so it's not a muscle issue thing that he's dealing with. So he could start, but everyone outside of Salah, the two forwards outside of Salah, assumed to be subbed off. Now, Firmino is an option off the bench. He could even start, I guess. Jota started over the weekend. Gakpo, that's what we have here. But, again, we could see Nunez start. We could see Firmino start. So we could technically see Konate even start for Matip in the back line. Konate he's been out more than a month with a hamstring injury, so seems like a stretch for him to start, but who knows? As for Wolverhampton, we could see Aït-Nouri start over Hugo Bueno. I guess Johnny could start over Semedo. We had Cunha get hurt over the weekend. He should be fine, but he's not going to start in this game. He twisted his ankle. I think it was his ankle a little bit. So here's what we have. We could see Matinho back in there. Traore could start again. He came on for Cunha over the weekend. No matter what, it seems like Lamina, Neves, Nunez, Sarabia, all those guys seem like pretty locked on spots to start. Jimenez started over the weekend. We'll see if he starts again. He's the guy over Costa, and then if you got Cunha injured, it's assumed that Jimenez will start. So now that that's out of the way, not that we even decided anything, but it's kind of almost impossible to project what these managers are going to do in a midweek match. But for cash games here, it's pretty simple. Maybe I shouldn't say that. It's pretty straightforward. Cash games, TAA will be extremely popular, and then the other fullback will be the next most popular. Let's just assume it's Robertson over Simicast, but again, those guys are 400 difference, so there's not a massive price difference. But let's just plug in TAA, Robertson, and then the main decision is going to come down to who starts at forward for Liverpool and who do you want to start. So we got Salah 11.2, Nunez 10.8, Gakpo 10.4, Firmino 10K, Jota at 9.8K. And that's kind of what your cash lineup is going to be decided on. If you go Salah, it's going to limit you a little bit, but there's not a ton that you want in the mid range. Of note for Wolverhampton, I'm not. So in terms of set pieces for Wolverhampton, so as you can see in the numbers, I believe I can't say for certain, but so Sarabia didn't take a corner or a set piece at Fulham last Friday, but Bueno took 3, which were all corners. I believe there were left-sided corners, and there was not a right-sided corner. I can't say for guarantee, but I think that's what I remember seeing. And Ruben Neves' 2 set pieces were just set pieces that weren't corners. So set pieces from the pitch kind of thing. So just keep that in mind. Even though Sarabia, it says right here, didn't take a set piece last game, he's probably still going to be in right-sided corners. If Aitnuri or if Bueno start, those guys will probably be on left-sided corners. That's just what it seems like. So something to keep in mind there as we're just looking at the set piece numbers. So if you want Sarabia, though, 8K in your cash game lineup, I think that's a pretty good decision. And if you throw Salah in this group, you're kind of down. You're down to the bottom. You got about 10.3K in your final 2 spots. I guess a big decision will be if Aitnuri starts, he's 6.2K. If Hugo Bueno starts, he's 4.4K. I don't consider either of those guys locks because we've seen they'll sub in and out for each other. Even though Bueno he did just go 90, those guys have been going in and out for each other. But for the sake of this, let's just assume it's Bueno, and then you got enough money for I guess Neves. So the mid range in this slate is not too enticing. I'll just leave it at that. We could start with. Pretty much after the Liverpool forwards, it's kind of hit or miss. I guess you also have a question of if you want to spend up for Traore in cash games. You want Traore if he starts over someone like Sarabia, maybe, or if you want both of them, maybe that's an option. But if you look past the Liverpool forwards, there's not a ton. Again, we have Traore, we got Sarabia. Of course, we have the Liverpool fullbacks. Those guys are in a different conversation, really. And then you're just going down the list. Pedro Neto may be on the bench, but he's been playing with the U21s. If he plays, it's going to be like 5 minutes. It feels like Harvey Elliott is right here. Alisson is right here. Jimenez, if he starts at 7.4K. Milner probably not going to start. So it's just all these guys. And then and then further down, Van Dijk is 5.2K. Are we paying 5.2K for Van Dijk? Maybe if in tournaments, not in cash games. You just keep going down the list, and it's like, well, why am I paying 5.2K for Van Dijk when you can really get any of these guys that are down here? I don't even know where's Fabinho at. Fabinho is 3.4K. I know he's not great, but if you need to save money, get 2 points from Fabinho. Is it better to go Van Dijk and hope for 5 points and a clean sheet kind of a thing for 5,200, or just get 2 points with Fabinho at 3,400? That'll probably allow you to get multiple Liverpool forwards, because I do think that's going to be the popular route will be 5 Liverpool, 1 Wolverhampton player. I think that's what the route will be. Joel Matip, I guess maybe instead of Fabinho, Matip's actually at 3,600, so he's right in that range as well. Then we can still go down. I'm not going to say Matinho here, but Matheus Nunes, he's been getting subbed off early, but it seems like he's kind of getting to 5 points every game, no matter the opponent, and he's 3,400. So it's like, why are we spending however much on Van Dijk or I don't know, even Jimenez, I guess, when you can just go down and save money on a guy who has a better floor. So that's at least in cash games. Like if you need to save money in cash games, then that's a position where you could use Nunez as one of those cheap guys, kind of a thing. So, okay, that's pretty much it in cash games. I mean, what else? There's not much else to talk about. For my thoughts on this game, I think the odds are kind of interesting. As I said at the top, Liverpool are still getting a lot of love from the sports books. The one thing that does stand out is while Liverpool have been struggling, they're pretty good at home. I believe they only have one home loss in league play. I know they just gave up 5 goals to Real Madrid. I know that happened, but they have one loss in league play this season, and that was kind of random. It was a random game against Leeds. That for a long time that was one of Leeds' only wins this season. So if you take that out, I mean, pretty much Liverpool have won almost every game at home. They recently drew Chelsea 0-0. They had a 3-3 match against Brighton back in October, 1-1 against Crystal Palace. But otherwise, I mean, it's a lot of wins there at home. And that's where these odds are coming from. But these teams, I guess I should have mentioned from the start, these teams, this is going to be the fourth meeting between Liverpool and Wolverhampton since January 7th. These teams know each other. They played each other twice in League Cup, FA Cup. Must have been League Cup. They played each other twice. Maybe it was FA Cup. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So they played each other twice in January. Then they recently played in the Premier League. So this is their fourth meeting in just under 2 months. So they know each other pretty well. I mean, you can look at those results, and Liverpool won. They won both of the league matches, and then Wolverhampton won 3-0 in the league game. So, I mean, I was looking at those results, and it's kind of hard to take away anything major. So when these teams played, this was February 4th at Wolverhampton. Wolverhampton scored 2 goals in the first 12 minutes. So basically everything is off the table. Liverpool had better floors, more of the ball because they're already down 2 goals. Wolves are fine, sitting back a little bit. So you can't really look at those numbers. Prior meeting, this was January 17th. Wolverhampton was home. Liverpool won 1-0. They got a random goal from Harvey Elliott that it was basically out of nothing, and then otherwise, Wolverhampton had the upper hand in terms of expected goals, more opportunities, that kind of thing. So basically, the last 2 times these teams played, you can't even really take the numbers, any of the numbers away, and even the 2-2 result. This was January 7th. This one was a little more back and forth, and this was at Liverpool. But I mean, you look at that one, and it's like, well, 21 combined shots. Wolverhampton started Joe Hodge in the midfield. They started Cody Gomez, started Lembekisa at right back. Goncalo Guedes actually scored the first goal in that match. So how much can we even take away from the prior 3 meetings from these teams? Maybe not a lot. So, but that being the case, I do think so. Under Lopetegui, Wolves have been better. They've been good, and I think that has to come into play. In addition to Liverpool being at home, I do think that Wolverhampton, the way that they're actually playing under Lopetegui, also needs to be put into these odds, and that's why I think these odds are maybe a bit too extreme just because Liverpool is at home. I feel like 1.8 implied total for Liverpool, maybe 1.1, 1.2 for Wolverhampton is maybe a little closer to being correct. I just think it's kind of inflated a little bit here, just based off, maybe some positive results from Liverpool recently. Granted, they just had a scoreless draw against Wolverhampton. So what does that mean? But looking back at Wolverhampton's results, they outplayed last Friday. They pretty much they were unlucky to get a 1-1 draw, I'd say, at Fulham, but they outplayed Fulham. I'll say that. They outplayed Bournemouth, ended in a 1-0 home loss. They beat Southampton 2-1 when they came back with only 10 guys. Match before that was against Liverpool, which they won 3-0, got those early goals. Match before that was Manchester City, which there's not a ton to take away from that. And then that's the past couple weeks for them. So that's kind of what I'm looking to do here. So how do we want to take this in tournaments? As I said, it's probably going to be a lot of 5-1s in tournaments. There's going to be a lot of, obviously, TAs always going to be popular. Gakpo, Salah, Jota, whoever starts up front, those guys are going to all be popular. So people are going to look at that and they're going to do 5-1s, and that's going to lead to the one Wolverhampton player being one of the guys down here, being a guy I just mentioned, Nunez, 3,400. Nunez will probably be popular, assuming he starts, because he's 3,400 and because he allows you to do pretty much just stack a bunch of Liverpool on your team. Uh, he's really the only guy that stands out down here. I mean, we could see Matinho start, but it's Matinho. We could see Johnny start, but it's Johnny. We could see Lamina start, but it's Lamina. So it's all those guys down there. Let me just do this to see kind of what the public's thinking here. Let's just do. Let's just do. We'll just do. Keep it simple here. TAA captain. We'll put Salah in here. We'll put Nunez in here. Let's just do Robertson. And I assume because this is against Wolverhampton, people believe in the clean sheet. So they're going to get the Alisson clean sheet. And then we're looking at, I mean, you're still kind of in a dead range with 6,700. But so there's still some wiggle room here if you want to captain Robertson over TA kind of thing. And then that'll allow you to get maybe Harvey Elliott, maybe another one of these Liverpool guys. I guess the other option is, instead of Robertson, you plug in Jota, and then you're left with 4,500. And then you're still in, like, you can get Matip or whoever, one of the midfielders. Henderson's at 4K, Bajcetic is 4.2K, also in play for the clean sheet because he's still listed as a defender for unclear reasons. So, I mean, maybe Nunez won't be as popular as I originally thought, because you still have to tinker around to actually make your lineup work because the mid range is kind of dead here. So, but I mean, if you, as I said, the 5-1 build, TAA, Salah will be popular. Then it'll be between the other forward for Liverpool, Gakpo, Jota, Nunez, whoever starts, Firmino. I think Alisson's going to be fairly popular. I know he's 8.2K, but people look at Wolverhampton and they see defense. They see a team that didn't score against Bournemouth in their last home match, that kind of a thing. So I think Alisson's going to be popular. And then you go from there. And then, I mean, you combine that with, like, Matip is 3.6K. So he's also going to allow you to do, to get multiple high-end Liverpool guys as well. So that's what I think will be the popular route. It's going to be a lot of 5-1 Liverpool. Based off the odds, based off of the teams, based off the team names. It's kind of what I'm thinking. So how are we going to play this? I mean, I mentioned how Liverpool have been at home this season. You can ride that. You can ride that for Alisson captain. You can take that route. We'll see if rotation happens here. If you want to be on a differential Liverpool route, that's another question. That's another question. I think Robertson still isn't popular enough that you can still be fine captaining him and winning bigger contests, because TA still gets all the attention. Even if there's a price difference here, Robertson still isn't popular enough in captains that I think you can still win with him if you get crosses, if you can assist slash goal. So I think you can look that. I think you can look at that route. You could even captain Jota or Gakpo, the other forwards other than Salah, and then you still have, like, Matip down low. You still have the Nunez to build out your squad fairly easily. So you can take those routes. And then I guess there's always the center back play. Alisson captain is also an option. I believe, was it the Everton match that Alisson captain won some things? I guess he only won save. Maybe it was that Newcastle match. Yeah, Liverpool won 2-0 at Newcastle. He had 4 saves, 18 points in that one. So I do think Alisson's going to be popular, but he probably won't be as popular as Robertson, at least in captain. So that'll be another decisive point there. So how are we going to win if you don't believe in the 5-1 complete Liverpool stacks? How are we going to win this? 1-1 result, even 2-1 for Liverpool is fine. You can go for the scoreless draw, which I do think a scoreless draw is in play here. Again, I think these teams are pretty even when they played each other in the prior 3 times they played each other. I think that has to be considered here, that Wolverhampton did not look like a worse team when these teams have played 3 times in the past 6 weeks. So take that into account as well. As you can see in the graphic, we got to talk about Jose Za. Before I go, I'll put together the Jose Za lineup. You can do, what can we do? Jimenez is fairly expensive here, so probably not going to do Jimenez, but it's a possibility. Sarabia is also in there, assuming he's back on set pieces. Where is he? Oh, he's just under Allison. So yeah, Sarabia in there. Really, any of these guys. In terms of subs, Neves, Neves is going 90. He's always in play for the goal from 30 out, so that's always a captain option right there. Yeah, I mean, you could even captain Neves in like a 2-1, even if it's 2-1 Liverpool build. You get the Neves goal kind of a thing, and then you still have, I mean, how much is Neves here? Build this out here, 8.4K. Just plug in the fullbacks for fun because that's how you do Liverpool slates. Plug in Salah just because. Plug in Jota just because. And Bueno. Yeah, so I just built the perfect lineup. Neves captain, TAA, Robertson, Salah, Jota, and then you got Hugo Bueno with the assist to Neves. Pretty easy. Remaining salary is 0. So there you go. I mean, you can captain. All these guys are in play to be subbed off. Sarabi is in play to be subbed off. Jimenez will be subbed off. If Traore starts, he will be subbed off. Nunez has been getting subbed off. I believe Lamina is fine. Yeah, Lamina went 90 against Fulham for the first time. You got that red card in there. So, and then probably the left back, whoever starts, figures to be subbed off early. So you got probably Bueno and the 4 guys in the attack probably going to be subbed off. So, but at this point for captain, you're going for a goal anyway. So it kind of doesn't matter if a guy's getting subbed off. You just want the goal. So let's do Jose Sa captain before we go. All right. I have not done this yet, so I don't know what this build looks like. Do we want Semedo? Do we want Semedo or do we want Hugo Bueno on set pieces? Is it better to have Hugo Bueno with left-sided corners in 65 minutes, or is it better to have Semedo in 90 minutes? That's a question you're going to have to ask yourself, and I'm asking that myself right now. Let's just do Bueno because of the set pieces, and we'll keep it at that. Side captain, Hugo Bueno. We're going to want Sarabia for the other set pieces. Granted, we're going heavy. This is heavy Wolverhampton here, but we still want TAA. I mean, let's just say Wolverhampton score early. So we get a goal from Sarabia. Goal/assist from Bueno, Sarabia. You could throw Neves here. So we're going to put TAA into this because we're going to want the comeback. We're going to want the crosses. We're going to want the corners. Pretty much what we saw in the 3-0 match. Actually, let me pull up those numbers quickly in the 3-0 match just to see what happened when Wolverhampton went ahead. A couple early goals. So let's look at the numbers. Liverpool, 22 shots, 58% possession, 32 crosses, 7 corners, 15 chances created. There you go. So if Wolverhampton score first, this is what's going to happen again. 32 crosses for Liverpool, 5 crosses for Wolverhampton. And you got TAA at 10 crosses, Robertson 9. So there you go. I mean, this is kind of the build here of what I'm talking about. So we get the early goal and TAA, Robertson / Simicas. And then we basically have 14.5K to do whatever we want. So do you want, I mean, in this spot, you could technically only use one Wolverhampton player with Sa, and it doesn't have to be Bueno. You don't have to worry about him being subbed off and only having like a 6 or 7 points. You can still get, but I mean, even if you go with the high-end Liverpool guys, they're getting subbed off too. So, okay, I just fell into something. Okay, we get Sa captain. And you can use any of the top 3 Liverpool forwards. The difference is that we probably know that Salah is going to go 90. So we got Jose Sa captain. We got Sarabia set piece to Jimenez for the goal. So we got him. We got Jose Sa. We got the saves. We got the possible winning clean sheet. We got Sarabia to Jimenez for the goal. Then we got TA. We got Robertson. We got Salah. All guys, maybe they don't go 90, but you got the crosses, you got the corners, you got the 5+ shots for Salah. You're golden. So with this, I still think you can win in a 1-1 game or 2-1 game with Jose Sa. If he makes enough saves, you could still win. Maybe not all of it, but you can still get your money back with Sa captain. I don't think you need the winning clean sheet to win contests with Sa captain. I will say that because I mean, you look at his captain price at 6.9K, it just allows you to do a little bit more. And who's to say maybe it gets 5 saves, maybe it allows a couple goals. That could still be enough because you still have the money to get the top Liverpool guys, maybe the goal scorer for Wolves as well. So you have your options. But I think that's all I got. Thanks for watching. We'll have Kits and Wagers, our betting show, Thursday morning. Me and Chris Owen been running hot there, so check that out if you're into betting, or if you just want. We talk about 3 games on that, and then give a parlay at the end. If you want some, maybe if you don't even bet, we get some analysis on the matches, and we just give our thoughts on how those games are going to go. Maybe that's going to help for DFS and showdown purposes. We're also going to have Friday. Our usual show will be Jack Burkhart, Ryan Belangi, and Jordan Cooper for that show. For I think it's a 5-game slate on Saturday. Can't be for sure, but this one is the showdown of the week. Liverpool against Wolverhampton on Wednesday. Again, if you have questions, if you want to chat about the 2-gamer tomorrow, rotowire.com/soccer trial, free 48-hour trial, and then rotowire.com/chat to get into our Discord. We will be in there early Wednesday and then through the weekend because MLS is full go right now. But that's all I got for this match. You can find me at Zdroik. You can find RotoWire Soccer at RotoWire Soccer on Twitter. Make sure to like this video. We'll be back later in the week, but good luck on the slate, and we'll see everyone later in the week.